Let's say we have the integral of sine of x dx. How can we take the derivative of the integral of this? Well, we know that the function that gives us the derivative, or the derivative of the function that gives us the integrand is negative cosine of x, right? So the integral of sine of x dx is just negative cosine of x plus c. Because if we take the derivative of this, we get whatever's inside the integral. All right, so that one's not too bad. What if we have the integral of, let's see, we'll see the integral of sine of x cosine of x dx. So for this type of problem, we can do a simple u substitution, and we can let u equal sine of x, and for that reason, du is equal to cosine of x dx. And we can rewrite this integral as the integral of u du. So that's a pretty easy integral to do. We can use anti-power rule, and we get u squared over 2 plus c, and we're done. Now, what if we had the integral of sine to the third of x dx? So pause the video and see if you can figure this integral out. Okay, so for this integral, we actually have to use something called trig identities. I'm sure you've heard of it from pre-calculus. And the trig identity we have to use in this case is sine squared of x plus cosine squared of x. We know that this is equal to 1, right? So we can solve for sine squared of x. So sine squared of x is equal to 1 minus cosine squared of x. And we can substitute this for sine squared of x. So we can rewrite this integral as the integral of 1 minus cosine squared of x. Remember, that's sine squared of x times sine of x. So maybe pause the video and think about why this is true. All right. Now we can do a u substitution, because initially we couldn't have done a u substitution, because if we do u equals sine of x, then du is cosine of x, and we don't have a cosine of x term, right? So in this case, we can let u equal cosine of x, and du will be negative sine of x dx. So negative du will be sine of x dx, and this is looking good. So we can rewrite this integral as 1 minus, well, u squared, right? Because u is cosine of x, and du. But then don't forget the negative here, because negative du is sine of x dx. So the du is this part. This part is u squared. And then so we have 1 minus u squared. And now this seems like a pretty easy integral to do. We can just use anti-power rule, right, and figure this one out. So this becomes negative of u minus u to the third over 3 all plus c. So maybe we can rewrite it as negative u plus u to the third over 3 plus c. And we are done.